A lot of the policies that the government is now introducing is targeted towards people in some specific skills. And this doesn't only apply to the federal government. This also applies to the provinces. As you may already know, Canada is a federal country. So the federal government have their own policies and the provinces also have their own policies. But mostly they also work together. So as the government is bringing in people targeting some specific skills that they know is going to help the economy, provinces are also allowed to streamline their immigration policies, their provincial nominee programs, in order to bring in people in the skills that they need in those particular provinces. So unlike the previous policies, where once you meet a certain point, you could easily get into the express entry, get your ITA or invitation to apply, and come in as a permanent resident. Or once you come to a province and do just about any program, once you graduate, you could hopefully get to apply for permanent residency through that province. This time, you may school in a province and still not be able to gain permanent residency there. Why? Because your skills or whatever program you came to do isn't much needed in that province. And this is where I seek to educate people, especially people who are coming in as international students. Do not just apply for schools because you want to come to Canada. And when you get here, what next? Especially if your plan is to stay after school. What next? This is something you have to be thinking about whilst you are applying for the school. There is something I have been promoting ever since I started this channel. Don't just apply to school because everybody is coming to Canada, so you also want to come to Canada. You have to start planning on how you are not just going to enter the country, but through what process, through what pathway do you intend to gain your permanent residency after school? Start thinking about that even before you apply for your program. In Ontario, for instance, currently, even if you came here for a 1-year PSW program and you are able to secure a full-time job after school, you will be able to apply for permanent residency. This is in Ontario. Ontario is also focusing on people in the trades occupations. So if you came in Ontario and you did, let's say, a 2-year business program, someone who came here to do a 1-year PSW program has a higher chance of getting their permanent residency than you. Why? Because you didn't choose right. This is where people now have to start thinking and position yourself in a way that when you come here, you are not going to become one of the many people who got to Canada and started talking about how Canada wasn't the dream they imagined it to be. Because now, the Canadian immigration system is not just focusing on bringing in more people. As at now, they already having too many people, and we are bringing in more policies to push people out instead. 3 main pathways that the government have identified is the refugee system, international students, and temporary foreign workers. We already know the kind of policies they've put on the international study permits program. So many restrictions, and also trying to cap the number of international students coming in for the next 3 years. So with this, they are already limiting the number of people coming in because we already have too many. And they have also put forth some restrictions on the temporary foreign worker programs. The government also plans on putting in some policy changes that is going to make processing people who have applied for refugee faster. So before, people could stay here for like 4, 5, 6, 7 years while still processing their refugee claims. But now they're going to make sure processing goes fast enough that once your claim is rejected, deportation is also going to be that quick. So with these three pathways, the government is already tackling them. So if you do not want to be affected by any of these numerous changes that keep flying in from left to right, center, up and down, then you should be prepared yourself before you even move to Canada, whether as a student or through any other means. As I already mentioned, Canada is moving away from general draws or picking just about anybody and moving to specifics, moving to skills that they need. So make sure if you are coming to Canada with the intention of applying for permanent residency and staying, make sure you fall under any of these categories. As I have already mentioned in my previous videos, it is easier to get LMIA jobs in the rural communities. Everybody coming into Canada wants to live in the bigger cities. So it just happens to be that when you go to the rural communities, they tend to need people. So the government have recognized this and also have this rural and northern immigration program. Initially, it was a pilot program, but I read recently that it is also going to become permanent. One other area you may want to focus on is the Francophone stream, as I have trumpeted in my last couple videos. So the Francophone stream is mostly for French communities outside of Quebec. So if you are Francophone, you may not even need to get the 530s as people require now to be able to become permanent residents. With an even lower points, you will also be able to get permanent residency in Canada. So by knowing where Canada is heading now, you can study and know the areas or skills of interest and put yourself there so that when an opportunity presents its head, you will be able to take full advantage of it and make your dream come true. In the next couple of months, we are expecting IRCC to come up with numerous policy changes, all directed towards the same direction I just elaborated on. And as and when they become available, I will surely update you on them. Make sure to not just subscribe to this channel, but also click on the bell notification icon so that whenever I make an upload, you will be amongst the first to know of it. The future is bright, and it's up to you to put yourself in a position to take full advantage of it. Have a nice day and see you in my next video.